நம்பினேன் பிறனன் பொருள் தன்னையும் நம்பினேன் மடவாரையும் எல்லாம் செம்பொன் மாட tirukkUr நம்பிக்கு அன்பனாய் அடியேன் satirttEn இன்றே. So when in the previous verse Āzhwār says that all the good people rejected me, we may think, why did people reject him? He himself tells us why they rejected him. நம்பினேன் பிறனன் பொருள் தன்னையும். In those days, in the past, I coveted the wealth of others. When I saw somebody having something nice, I used to think, oh, I also want that. I had more faith in wealth, property, possessions, etc., thinking that alone will give me happiness and joy. I was filled only with the desires to accumulate, desire to own, desire to hoard, desire to have for myself. அதனால நம்பினேன் பிறனன் பொருள் தன்னையும் நம்பினேன் மடவாரையும் முன்னெல்லாம். And I was only running behind women. மடவாரை. I was only running behind women in those days. This was my life. With this life, when I went there, naturally everybody rejected me, saying, "Chhi, when you are so attached to Kamini and Kanchan, how can you ever attain God?" Abdini, they rejected me. Anna, despite my being like this, Ammayay Athanayanai Andidum Tanmayan Shadagopan Yan Nambi was there, who was willing to treat me as his son. He looked upon me as his son. He looked upon himself as my mother and father. Therefore, despite all my shortcomings, he still accepted me. Sempon maada tirukkUr nambikku anpanAy. And when I looked at that quality of Sri Nammāzhwār, I fell in love with him. AnpanAy, I became an Anpan. I became his lover. I loved him. I became devoted to him. And when I became completely, totally devoted to him, aDiyEn satirttEn inRE, I became liberated today. inRE, this very moment itself I am liberated. The moment I gave myself up to him, out of the love that he has for me, I became liberated. How does the Guru liberate us? Because we say without the Guru, liberation is not possible. Mokshamulam Gurof Padam. Mokshamulam Gurof Padam. The Guru's feet are the only way to attain moksha. Abdina feet ingiradhukku artham enna? Feet meaning you are surrendering unto that feet. So feet literally means surrender. Whenever we say Lord's feet, feet in Cholrolia, feet means surrender, because when you have to look at somebody's feet, your head has to go down. This is not merely looking at the feet, you are actually resting your head at that feet. Abdina, how much you have to humble yourself, lower yourself. You have to fall down on the ground as it is. Pranipate, na? You are lowering yourself, humbling yourself, surrendering yourself to the Guru. Guru's feet in Cholrom, feet represents that attitude of surrender and humility. That is why we look at feet. Not face, hand, etc. If you look at the Guru's face, you have to look like this. And suppose you are taller than the Guru, you have to look down upon the Guru. Swami was so short. So what can you do? You have to kneel down. Our Krishna is there, he is so tall. Imagine Krishna going and standing in front of Swami. Swami, you have to look at him. Krishna. Upper's feet represents humility. Feet represents bhava, attitude of surrender. So how does the Guru conquer us? He knows that there is no way by which we can be emancipated. We are terrible. The only way is if somehow I can make him surrender to me. If somehow I can make him surrender to me, then he will have to let go of his ego. And using that moment when he is let go of his ego, I can immediately invoke the grace of the Lord and get him out of the இதான் பிளான், பெரிய பிளாட், கான்ஸ்பிரசி. குரு is hatching a conspiracy. இந்த பயல எப்படியாவது I will catch him at his weak moment and hand him over to the Lord. How to catch him at the weak moment? இவன் வீக்காவே இருக்க மாட்டேங்கிறானே, தானே இருக்கான். He is holding his head up so strong as though he's got a stiff neck. பாவம், கழுத்தில் ஏதோ வலி போட்டிருக்க. சுளுக்கின்னு எடுத்தோம் என்ன கழுத்து. Some sprain in the neck like this. What to do? How to now? What does the Guru do? He is capable of so much prema. Yes or no? We know the level of prema that the Guru is capable of. His eyes speak of love. His words speak of love. His entire frame is radiating prema. And the karunayoda, and the kripayoda, and the premayoda, when he comes to you, you become weak at the knees and you have to fall down. And the moment that happens, then and there, using that as an excuse, he has fallen down, he has fallen down. Now you have to give him moksha. anpanAy அப்படிங்கிற வார்த்தை சொல்றாரு. எத்தனையும் சொன்னதுக்கு எதுக்குன்னா, all this was said because the Āzhwār uses the word anpanAy. I became devoted to him. Anbu, love, anpan, one who is loving. I fell in love with him because, why did I fall in love with him? He showed so much love to me. Ammayaya atanaiyenne andidum tanmayanalaya. He showed his guna, tanmai அப்படினா gunas. And what were his gunas? Compassion, pure love, selfless love, not a trace of selfishness in that for him. What is he going to gain from me? Apart from a headache, சொல்லுங்க பாப்பா. ரெண்டு பனடால் தானே சாப்பிட வேண்டி கிடக்கு. Apart from a headache, what else does he gain from me? என்னால ஆன உபகாரம். I feed him so much that his stomach hurts, or I give him a headache. This is all I am capable of. How we do that? In spite of that, he shows such selfless prema towards us. There is no trace of selfishness. He has got nothing to gain from us. But that selfless love is what captures us. That is what captivates us. That's Ramana Bhagavan சொல்றது அருள்னு சொல்லிட்டு. And that arul is nothing but prema. Love is what is grace. Grace cannot exist in a vacuum. Grace cannot exist without love. Love is what is called grace. From Bhagavan's side it is prema only. From our side it is grace. See, we call that grace. Bhagavan is not thinking I am showering grace on him. Bhagavan is showering love upon us. From his point of view, it is prema that he is giving. From our point of view, what we are receiving is anugraha. We are calling it grace. He is never calling it grace. He calls it only love. He is not thinking I will sit here and shower grace upon you. Bhagavan anikala. Bhagavan is not thinking that. Bhagavan is saying I have only love for you. Prema thane. That prema is interpreted by us as grace. So when he shows that prema, when he shows that kripa, when he shows that grace, showers that grace upon us, then and there we are conquered by that grace, and we look at that grace and we think, what did I do to be worthy of such grace? அப்படினு தோணும். அப்படிதான் தோணணும். You can never ever think that, but naturally I deserve this grace, I have done so much. You cannot think, because more than you have done, his grace is powerful. Let us assume you have done something. Let's assume. Worldly level, let's say you have done something. But no matter how much you have done, his grace is still more than what you have done. Therefore, at some point or the other, you will meet your match and you will say, no, I got more than I deserved. I got more grace than I truly deserved. You will feel it. And in that moment, you will have no other option but to surrender to him, giving up all claims to greatness, giving up all your ahankara, your ego that came out of the talents that you may have possessed, or the sadhana that you may have done, or the skills that you may have, or the education or learned learning that you may have, for whatever reason ahankara will come, maybe the wealth that you have will give rise to ahankara. And what does he care about all of those things, Cholungo? Anything that you have, either he devalues it and does not consider it as anything great, or he has it in greater abundance than you have. I have this, he is better than you at it. Or I have this, he doesn't consider it as a tannaiyum. This is like a blade of grass. He throws it aside. You cannot equal him. Not to say anything about exceeding him, you cannot even equal him, you cannot come anywhere close to him. In spite of that, when he showers so much grace upon you, the only way to think about it is, undeserving as I am, I still receive so much grace. Therefore, you fall at the feet and you surrender. You accept defeat. I am defeated. I am conquered by you. And when that happened, Madhurakavi Āzhwār says, munelAm previously, appalam, in those days, nampinEn, poruL tannaiyum. In those days, I was thinking I should have a lot of money. That is the game of life. That is the goal of life. nampinEn, maDavAraiyum, munelAm. Then I thought I should get married. I should have a family. The goal of life. Then, sempon mADat tirukkUr nampikku. Then I met my Guru. And I felt as though the rug has been yanked from under my feet. And all the things that I thought were important, all the things that I thought were worthy of accomplishing or achieving, all of that turned out to be worthless. It is not that I did not accomplish, I accomplished that also, but it was worthless. Though something happened. What was more worthy? What was more great? He is looking at me, he is talking to me, he is considering me his own. Abdingarthu became even more important than all of these so-called achievements and accomplishments. Yesterday we spoke about Ramanatha Brahmachari, Ramana Bhagavan's disciple, to whom even jnana, the attainment of jnana, was not as important as the fact that Bhagavan rapped him on the head with his knuckles. Bhagavan he was running around showing everybody his head, saying, Bhagavan rapped me here, Bhagavan knuckled me here. He was pointing, he was feeling so happy about that. The fact that he has got liberated did not matter to him. That is what having a Guru in your life creates. It makes it like that. It makes all the other accomplishments and achievements worthless. Who cares? Everybody else also has that. I'm not unique in that. I'm not the only one in that, but I'm the only one to have a Guru. I have got the Guru. The Guru is talking to me. The Guru is telling me things. The Guru is correcting me. The Guru is showering his love upon me. What can compare in front of that? அதனால nampinEn, இதெல்லாம் munelAm, not now, munelAm. In those days, nampinEn, poruL tannaiyum. In those days, I had greater faith in wealth, in greater faith in my career, greater faith in my worldly life. nampinEn, maDavAraiyum, munelAm. Those days, I believed more in all these worldly pleasures and worldly accomplishments and achievements than by my great good fortune, or rather by His great grace. Sempon mADat tirukkUr nampikku anpanAy. When I became devoted to Him, when I was able to give myself over completely to Him, aDiyEn satirttEn inRE. This very day, I became liberated. I became emancipated.